when you're doing your sample, you're going to take one of your pieces and cut it in half. Okay? And I'm going to sew a 5/8 seam with it. Okay? Intersecting is when you're sewing a seam to another area. So I'm going to sew my regular, just like I've sewed a seam, and my edge is even. You put your needle down in, you can get it anchored, but then make sure your edges are lined up. Back stitch. Notice I only back stitch like a couple stitches. And once you get used to it, you can push your button while, whoop, I just broke my thread. Supposed to push your button while it's in motion so that you don't stop. Okay, let's see why that did that. Camera. See if the threader works on this. Now, see these? There's a little tiny wire. You can't see it because of the way it is. There's a little tiny wire right there that goes through the eye of the needle, and almost all of these. Let me try it and see. I don't think it's working. You wrap it around that gray post, bring it down, and it's supposed to, oh it did, it worked, okay. And it goes through the eye and then grabs it. So I don't know if all your machines have it, whether they're working, whether that little wire isn't broken. You'll have to try it and see. But there's a very fine wire that goes through the eye. Okay, so it's like you've sewed a seam. You're going to pink it. Press it open just like you normally do, okay? My little pinking shears here. Okay, that's page 13, by the way, if you're looking. Okay, so I'm going to, remember you press it flat to set your stitches. And I want to sew it to something else, which is another square, another piece. Okay? Now, you want to make sure that this is, some of you have done this already when you put your, when you fold it over your waistband on your pants. You want to make sure those seams are open. You didn't really sew it to something else like this. This would be as if you were sewing on another waistband. You just folded yours over. And just sew your 5/8 seam. Now you want to make sure this seam is open. If it's going to be on the underneath, put a pin here and put a pin here so that this doesn't flip while you're sewing, because the feed dog can get it and flip it over. Then you've got to take like 4 stitches out, straighten it out, and re-sew it. Okay? So that's what you need to remember to put something, if it's on the underneath, you need to pin it. Okay, this is your intersecting, and you'll still go to you'll pink this, press it flat to set your stitches, and then open it up, press it open, okay, and then turn it over and make sure you press down to the seam on the right side as well, okay? I'm not going to take the time to do that, but that's your intersecting seam. Okay? Okay. Stay stitching. Okay.